Hey guys, welcome to the latest monologue. Do you guys know the moment at a function when the MC takes the mic and starts calling out names and they go like, so and so has given 20,000 shillings, applause, you know, next name, and then the next name, the next amount, you know. But there's a board somewhere, which is sometimes literal, sometimes just in everyone's head. At that moment, we are ranking who gave what live in front of the whole gathering, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've watched people's whole posture change in that 30 seconds between handing over the envelope and hearing their name called. It's like something in their shoulders, usually, you know, like when they wait for the mic to say when they wait for the mic to say your name, like it's doing something to people that the actual giving of the envelope isn't, you know. But here's the honest question not asking yourself quietly, not performing an answer for anyone, you know. Would you still give if the mic wasn't there, you know? If nobody announced the amount, if nobody clapped, if nobody knew but you and whoever counted that envelope after? Some people genuinely wouldn't blink, you know. The giving was always the point, and other people, and I included, I myself, in other days, if I'm honest, feel something deflate a little at the idea of a function with no announcement, you know, no applause or no name called out. And that deflation is worth paying attention to here, you know. It's telling you something true about where the actual reward was coming from. Now, get this, guys, there was this psychologist named Heinz Kohut who spent decades studying exactly this gap, you know. Though he was working with patients on a couch, not envelopes at a fundraiser, and his core idea was developed through the 1970s, was about something he called mirroring. And the definition of mirroring, according to him, was the way a small child needs a caregiver to reflect their excitement back at them. That's what he meant. A toddler does something, you know, then they look up and they need to see the delight at a parent's face. If you do that enough consistently, and the child slowly builds an internal sense of being enough on their own without needing an audience every time to confirm it. But when the mirroring is inconsistent here, when a child only gets warm reflection when they perform or when they achieve or when they impress, usually something different gets built instead, you know. And it's usually not a stable inner sense of worth, but a kind of hunger that never fully closes, because the actual solid flow never got poured. you know and the child grows into an adult who can look completely confident, even grandiose, while running almost entirely on whatever room they're currently standing in, agreeing that they matter, you know. And that's the distinction that actually matters here, And it's easy to miss if you only think about narcissism as one thing. Either you have it or you don't, or either you are humble or you are not. It's narcissism isn't a light switch, you know. Everyone wants to be seen sometimes. Even I admitted that I wanna be seen sometimes. You know, you wanting your name called at the function, which doesn't make you a narcissist, guys. You wanting to hear your name called at that function doesn't necessarily mean you're a narcissist. It just makes you human. You know, the difference shows up in what happens when the mic doesn't actually reach you. You know, some people give anyway. And they feel a small private satisfaction and move on with their life. And others feel something closer to injury. Like the giving didn't actually happen if nobody clapped for it. You know, and that's usually not vanity in the simplest sense. It's usually often an old unmet hunger from a much earlier mirror that never quite worked right, you know, showing up decades later at a fundraiser with a PA system, you know. And don't get me wrong, I go back and forth of how much grace to extend here, honestly, because I think This gets weaponized both ways. Some people use he's just performing generosity as a cheap accusation against anyone who gives publicly at all, which isn't fair, manze. I mean, plenty of public giving is completely sincere. It's culture and community and visibility, which aren't automatically dishonest, right? But also, I also think we've built entire social rituals, this one included, that are extremely good at rewarding exactly the kind of person Kohut was describing. Some someone whose sense of self needs a constant public reflection to feel real, while quietly starving out the kind of giving that never needed a microphone in the first place. I mean, I don't think the fixing is getting rid of the mic, or feeling guilty every time your name gets called and it feels good. I mean, that feeling isn't the problem actually. The actual question worth sitting with privately is simpler than that actually. When the applause stops, when nobody is counting, when there's no board and no announcement, do you still show up the same way? You know, that's not a test anyone else administers here. I mean, nobody's checking it. It's just you, alone with the answer, which is usually exactly where the truest version of it actually lives, anyway. And anyway, I'd say this the mic goes quietly eventually at every fundraiser or a function. You know, chairs get stacked, the PS system gets switched off, and whatever got given is just given now and no longer being announced to anyone. You know, that's usually the part worth paying closest attention to. You know, not the 30 seconds when your name gets called, you know, but the version of you that's still standing there once, it's just quiet again anyway. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, mate.